much now. We're too late in the game to learn another 80s franchise.
Yeah.
Shut up! You don't think Ryan is famous?
Cousin Ryan.
You gotta.
Hey, what's up, YouTube friends and family? It's Cousin Ryan.
It's Ryder.
And we just saw Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. Sorry, I had to think for a minute. The order of operations there in the title.
Yeah.
So we'll give you our thoughts on it. Again, we won't intentionally spoil anything, but spoiler alert now that things may slip out in the course of conversation. So,
especially because we don't really know anything about G.I. Joe.
Yeah, and that's going to my next thing. Again, spoiler alert. I don't really have a base knowledge for the G.I. Joe lore or mythos. As a kid, my mom was okay with me watching robots kill each other. And not that anybody killed each other on G.I. Joe, but it was war and guns, and my mom didn't like it, so I could watch Transformers all I want, but
because it wasn't people.
It wasn't people.
It wasn't blood, it was just a little bit of gasoline.
And then, yeah, I just didn't, I don't know, I just never cared enough to go back and watch it. Though I appreciate G.I. Joe's place in pop culture, and I have nothing against it now at all. I just don't have a knowledge for it. So, going into this, I had no expectations of what it should be or what it could have been. I will say something right off the bat that may anger some, but without that knowledge of G.I. Joe or that nostalgia, I really felt like you could have called this movie Mortal Kombat and it would have felt exactly the same way.
Probably.
I mean, it felt like the Mortal Kombat movie in the beginning for sure. But I enjoyed it. I totally enjoyed it, and I think the fact that I don't have a history with G.I. Joe maybe allowed me to enjoy it a little bit more. I wasn't going to be so critical of it or have expectations of what it should be. It was fun. It's probably the best movie. Oh no, Black Widow was pretty good though.
Yeah.
I'd put it. Oh man, now I gotta. Okay.
I would put it at a second for Black Widow.
You put it behind Black Widow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly because I just know more about Black Widow and the Marvel universe and all that.
And Marvel.
And so I have more of like a basis to put it on.
Sure.
With this, it's like I don't know anything about G.I. Joe. I don't know anything about these characters in it.
Right.
I don't even know if half these characters are in other stuff.
Well, I recognized some names. I recognized the appearance of some of them. The actress, and I forget her first name. I believe her last name is Weaving. It's Hugo Weaving's niece. She also played Bill's daughter.
Yeah.
In Bill and Ted Face the Music. I have a hard time taking her seriously after seeing her in Face the Music.
I was totally waiting for her to say an excellent.
Yeah, excellent. And it's mainly just because not enough time has passed. I mean, imagine if Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure comes out in 1989, and then in 1990 you put
Matrix.
Keanu Reeves into
Matrix.
John Wick.
Well, the Matrix was.
Or the Matrix, but I mean, but having Keanu Reeves as this badass, like, mercenary, you know, hired hitman, immediately after he plays Ted Theodore Logan, I think he'd be like, oh, I don't know. But
well, even still, people are like, oh my god, Ted is, you know, killing people or whatever.
Yeah. It's
so,
the version, it's the alt universe. Hold on, we're getting way off track here from G.I. Joe, but the fan theory that John Wick is the alt universe where Ted Theodore Logan went off to military school.
Yeah.
But back to G.I. Joe, I think it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Right.
And like I said, until I just now thought of Black Widow, I thought, oh, that was probably the best movie I've seen since everything reopened after the pandemic. But I'm still going to give that to Black Widow by a narrow margin. I like G.I. Joe. I'd say go see it. Or I like Snake Eyes, I should say. I gotta quit calling it G.I. Joe. And it definitely set things up. I thought it gave a solid foundation to expand into more movies, which I'm sure they will. Yeah.
So this was like, as far, well, I don't know about any of the other movies. I just know they've remade movies like so often throughout the years. And so clearly it's just not that successful most of the time.
Well, it's just because it's poorly executed.
Yeah, this, as far as I know, seemed pretty like good.
That's yeah.
Like they kind of set you up to not like the main character. I forget his name, but they call him Snake Eyes. Obviously.
Yeah, well, and that's where John and I even leaned over to each other and we were like, wait, is Snake Eyes supposed to be a good guy or a bad guy? I don't remember. Like, I remember the character,
Yeah.
but I just couldn't pull it out of the recesses of my brain to remember if he was supposed to be good or bad.
Yeah, because I think I saw one of the older G.I. Joe movies when I was really, really little.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing the White Ninja and the Black Ninja. I don't know if Snake Eyes is exactly his name or what.
Mm-hmm.
But, and especially now seeing this movie, I'm like, wait, I don't really know who's the bad guy.
So, as far as I understand, this is a complete reboot as well.
Yeah.
And we were talking before the movie started because there's been 2 or 3 previous G.I. Joe movies, and I couldn't remember. I know I've seen them all. They weren't super memorable.
They weren't the greatest.
But I was trying to remember if any of them were actual direct sequels to a previous one, like if there was any 2 movies that were actually linked, or if they've just been one reboot after another.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to add. No. I'd say go see it if you want to go out and see a movie and have some fun and eat some popcorn.
Yeah. And if you like G.I. Joe and this movie illustrated, then I think you'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not, like...
I can't tell you how true it is to the source material, though. If you're a purist, you might not like this, or you might love it. Maybe it is super true to the lore. I don't know.
Or maybe it's something different, but something that's enjoyable for even most diehard fans. I don't know.
Maybe there is no origin story yet, and that's why this is the origin story.
Maybe.
They finally wrote one.
Maybe.
I don't know. I am looking forward to seeing Old, though, the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Old? Yeah, I kind of want to see that too, but then I saw it was M. Night Shyamalan. I'm like, eh.
Really? You're not a fan of his work?
A lot of his movies aren't the greatest with the twists, in my opinion, but... He's not terrible. He's had some good movies, but he's not, like, the greatest. So
one of my favorite movies that he did, up to a point, was Signs.
Yeah.
With the aliens, until the aliens looked like they could have been a version of the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. I was like, yeah, those just don't scare me. I don't know. It just seemed too trick or treat or something to.
An alternative costume.
Yeah. So, but
I feel like, because I don't think I've seen the full movie, but I've seen like clips of it with the aliens. I feel like the xenomorphs and predators, even though how fake they are, and it's not trying to be real.
No, I wish they would have gone with in Signs. I wish they would have gone with like the Greys with the big heads, the big bald heads, and the big black eyes.
Oh, like the typical kind of stereotypical.
Oh yeah, I think those aliens are terrifying.
Really?
Kinda, yeah, because there's nothing to them.
Yeah.
They're not visually scary, which makes them way more intimidating. I think.
That makes sense.
But to wrap up the conversation on G.I. Joe, do you want to add anything?
No, I mean, it was alright.
It's a good summer movie.
Yeah. I personally wouldn't see it again unless like I knew a lot more about G.I. Joe, but
yeah, I'm
already learning so much about like everything else that G.I. Joe is just like, nah.
It's too much.
There's no way
it's too much now. We're too late in the game to learn another 80s franchise.
Yeah, I think so.
And that is the theme of this whole summer is we're too late in the game to learn the history of another 80s franchise.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I might go back and watch this right before a sequel comes out, or I might just jump into the sequel and call it good. But
we'll figure it out.
Yep. All right. Well, hope everyone has a good night, and until next time, be excellent to each other.
See ya.
You know, say it's cousin Ryan on the Hollywood Boulevard. You know, say he bigger than any superstar. All of us spit you some real dope bar. Some them sweeter than any chocolate bar. Boom!
Hey.